really nervous. Okay, so yesterday this is what it is, right? Okay. We stop at a graph, I think. Up to the graph, right? So I told you that we'll analyze a few things based on the graph. So this is a graph of potential energy versus the distance, and I mentioned that here this is 0.8 FM. So one left side of this part, so if you think of region 1, left side of this one, and region 2, right side of this. So in region 1, okay, in region 1 the strong nuclear force is repulsive. Okay, the strong nuclear force itself is repulsive. And in region 2, the strong nuclear force is attractive. I hope you remember one of the points that we wrote. For less than 0.8 femtometer, the force is repulsive. For greater than 0.8 femtometer, the force is attractive. Right? Okay. Now, this graph itself shows all these things, right? And by using this graph, we would actually understand how strong the force really is. Okay. So let's begin with that. Do you remember that force is minus du by dr? 111, work energy power. Relation of a conservative force and potential energy. Right? So this is what we're having, F is minus du by dr. So in this graph, it's going to be the slope. Do you agree with me? Du by dr means slope. I believe all the math students are sitting here, so I don't think I have to explain that, right? So this is the slope of this graph. Now you have a look at the slope over here in this part. So this is like 0.8 FM. Where this graph cuts this axis, what is the value of R approximately? Can you find it from the graph? Look at the graph in your textbook. What is the value of? Oh, textbook में लिखा है ये इधर. ये गई नहीं हो तुम्हारी? बराबर ने? पहली बार खोलो जो 12th ની textbook, એવું નથી ને? તો વાંધો નહીં. શું લાગે છે અહીંયા r ની વેલ્યુ શું હશે? એપ્રોક્સિમેટલી જ્યાં 0 આવે છે એ વેલ્યુ શું હશે? 0.5 FM જેવું લાગે છે ને? So let's say this is 0.5. Chapter 13. બરાબર ને? મિડલ ઓફ ધ ચેપ્ટર સ્ટ્રોંગ ન્યુક્લિયર ફોર્સ એવો નામનો એક ટોપિક છે, એની અંદર આ ગ્રાફ આપ્યો. પેજ નંબર 445. ઓકે, થેન્ક યુ સો મચ વિવેક. નાઉ હજી કાન તો એવા જ છે, ભલે પગ એવા ન હોય, બરાબર ને? I've gone through a lot in these six or seven months. Yeah, but so coming back to this here, this is 0.5 femtometer. હવે આનો સ્લોપ ફાઇન્ડ કરો. કેવી ગણાય? વેરી ઇઝી. Approximately delta U by delta R, correct? So here this value is what? Minus 100 mega electron volt હશે ને? And this is 0, right? So if we just put the values roughly, delta R means distance between these 2 points is 0.3 femtometer, correct? Let's convert everything to SI unit. So this is going to be 100 into 1.6 into 10 raised to minus 13 mega electron volt and 13. Alright, mega is 10 raised to 6 divided by 0.3 into 10 raised to minus 15. करो calculate जो. So this is the value of this slope. આ force નું magnitude છે. જો જોરદાર આન્સર આવે છે. કરો ફટાફટ કરો, વાર નથી લગાડવાની. અરે આ nearly 5 થઈ ગયું. Okay, and now rest is all powers, right? 5 into 10 raised to 2 minus 13 plus 15. કેટલું આવ્યું? 5 into 10 raised to 4 unit force છે ને આ જો force જો 50,000 newton force between two protons. તમારું weight કેટલું છે? 1000 newton થી વધુ નહીં હોય, right? This is force between two protons, 50,000 newton. બરાબર, એટલે 5000 કિલો ના ટ્રક ની નીચે ઊભા રહો તો કેટલો ફોર્સ લાગે? એટલો ફોર્સ બે પ્રોટોન વચ્ચે લાગે. Think about it, how strong this force really is. Or very nice, strong force, right? Okay, so this is typical value, right? Okay, so it's a very strong force, of course. And here, how do we know it is repulsive? That we can see from this. Look at the graph. Slope negative, yes or no? Yes. Okay, slope negative. So if you put one more mass, this would become positive. What that positive means is, whenever the force is positive, that indicates away from the center or away from that particle. We used to write a vector electrostatic force K(Q1, Q2 by R square R hat. If this is positive, it means the force is repulsive. If it's negative, the force is attractive. Same thing here. There's one more way to talk about it. You know, everything likes to decrease potential energy. So suppose distance or two between two protons. Then will this proton go towards the right side or left side? Right side. કેમ અહીંયા આવે તો potential energy ઓછી થઈ. Understood? Right? અને અહીંયા હોય તો suppose one proton is here and one is here, so attract થશે, અહીંયા આવી રહેશે. Got it? Right? So this graph shows both the behavior. That strong nuclear force is repulsive for less than 0.8 femtometer and this is greater for 0.8 femtometer. It's attractive, right? Thank you. But if you draw a slope here somewhere, a tangent over there, see it's nearly horizontal, correct? That means slope is nearly 0. Alright? Everyone got that? So slope nearly 0 means this force also nearly 0. Short range. Up to 0.8 FM no problem. 1 FM ચાલશે, હજી 1 FM સુધી કઈ બહુ વાંધો નહીં આવે. 2 FM જેવા આગળ જાઓ એટલે શું થઈ જાય? સીધું 0 થઈ જાય. Make sense? એક વચ્ચે પોઈન્ટ લખ્યો છે. For distances greater than 1 femtometer or something, we can almost neglect strong nuclear force. લખ્યું હતું ને ગઈકાલે. I hope you made a list. Right? Okay. So this is what we have about this. Now, as I did mention yesterday, I'm going to tell you a little bit about the cause. What is really causing the strong nuclear force? But just like I mentioned it yesterday as well, you will never be able to get to the exact what, because it's very deep into physics. એના માટે આખી એક branch છે physics ની, which is called QCD, quantum chromodynamics, right, which deals with particle physics and all that. એટલે બહુ ઘણું બધું આગળ હોય. Never mind. Right now, let me tell you a few things that you will be able to understand. Do you remember what are quarks? Or do you know what are quarks? Protons are made up of quarks. Neutrons are also made up of quarks. Electrons are not made up of anything. Okay, electrons are not made up of anything. Electrons are electrons. That's it. Right? Okay. So quarks are typically found like this. Suppose this is a proton. So proton structure આવું UUD. Proton is UUD. UUD, that is up, up, down. આ ક્વાર્ક નું નામ છે, up quark. and a down quark. Okay. I remember that in chapter 1, there was one additional exercise question related to this, that if you think of a proton and a neutron to be made up of quark, then what is its composition? Then the answer is that in one proton there are 2 up quarks and 1 down quark. Reason is up quark has a charge 2 by 3e and down quark has a charge minus 1 by 3. એટલે આ બે કરો 2 by 3, 2 by 3 and 1 down minus 1 by 3. કેટલો ચાર્જ આવ્યો? 1e. Understood? Yes or no? Got it? If the neutron ma down down upward, એટલે UDD. Okay, neutron is UDD. Right? So that is minus 1 by 3, 2 by 3e, minus 1 by 3e and minus 1 by 3. 0. So 0. Clear? So this is a well-known fact, right? But actually what happens is, why is there strong nuclear force? Because when suppose 2 protons are close to each other, right? When 2 protons are close to each other, okay, this strong nuclear force is still valid up to ranges of 1 FM and all this. Okay, slightly more than 1 FM. Then quarks from one proton will start attracting the quarks from another proton. This is what happens. એટલે આના quark બોલાને ખેંચવા માટે. Of course these 3 attract each other, right? You know, quarks attract each other so strongly that you can never separate 2 quarks. Suppose કોઈ પણ રીતે 2 quark એકબીજાની સાથે આવી ગયા, suppose they have formed a pair, તમે ગમે એ કરી લો, quark છૂટા ન પડે. We have tried everything, frankly. What I am saying is experimentally true. તમે ગમે તે કરી લો, થાય કરો, એ 2 છૂટા ન જ પડે. Right? Okay. Reason is simple. They are bound by strong nuclear force. કેટલો ફોર્સ? 10,000 ન્યૂટન, 50,000 ન્યૂટન જેવો હોય. તો 2 પાર્ટિકલને છૂટા પાડવાના, પણ 10,000 ન્યૂટન ફોર્સ લગાડવાનો, થાય જ નહીં. Make sense? Okay. So what happens is that quarks from one proton તારા માટે સમજાવો છો કે નહીં? હા, જોવે જ ને. કેમ દેખાતો નથી? અચ્છા, તો એવું બોલાય ને. So now I try to write a little bit larger. So here what happens is, quarks from one proton will start attracting quarks from another proton, right? So this is what is going on. એટલે આ બે એકબીજાને attract કરવા. Because of that the 2 protons attract each other. એવું ન્યુટ્રોન હોય તો એ સેમ જ થાય. Up and down doesn't really matter when it comes to attraction, right? Okay, so this is the basics of that, right? Quarks are really weird things. Okay, આ બધું કઈ તમારી બુકમાં નથી, I'm going to erase it. I just wanted you to get some more information. That's it. Right? બાકી તમે પછી એમ પૂછો કે 2 quark કેમ એકબીજાને attract કરે? Nobody knows. Just like 2 charge, why do 2 charges attract each other? Nobody knows. Right? Like charge is repelled, unlike charge is attracted. હા, પણ કેમ? આ સુધી કોઈને ખબર પડી નથી અને પડશે. Why? Because it's one of the very basic things of nature. Right? It's a basic thing હોય, એ બધું discover કરવું બહુ ખતરનાક છે. Like proving why is there a mass. કેટલા વર્ષો પછી માંડ પ્રૂવ થયું કે એટલે ખબર પડી કે કેમ માસ હોય, right? So such things which are fundamental are very deep into physics. Okay, so we are talking about strong nuclear force. I think that's enough of discussion about it. Now with this topic over, we enter into a part of the chapter from which you will get a lot of questions. Okay, અહીંથી જે ચાલુ થાય એમાં એકલા questions જ questions, right? Okay, for the portion that we have had so far in this chapter, very few questions are asked in exam. Remember? On the other hand, it will also get slightly simpler. થોડું તમને physics જેવું લાગશે, એટલું theory જેવું નહીં લાગે. Okay. So, the name of the next topic is radioactivity. I'm sure you have read this in lower classes that there are three kinds of natural radioactivity: alpha, beta, and gamma. Right? Okay. So alpha are particles. We say alpha particles. We say beta particles, but it might be hyper. Okay, and gamma rays. Okay. So what is it about these alpha particles? Alpha particles are nothing but helium nucleus. I hope you all will be able to remember this. Remember full speed માં જશે ના આવે. So that is about alpha. આપણે પછી લખ્યું પહેલા alpha પૂરું કરો. Okay, these are three. તો તમને ખબર છે 9 માં આવી છે. Right. So if you have got 2He4 nucleus which comes out of a heavy nucleus. Heavy element કોને કહેવાય? What is meaning of heavy element? For example, uranium. Alright, the nuclei of heavy element like uranium, thorium, these are unstable and they emit alpha particles. Right. So typically, if you want to know which elements emit alpha particles, then you would say anything close to Z equal to 90. Anything close to Z equal to 90 can emit alpha particles. Alright. So let's take an example. Suppose you have got 92U238. See, there are hundreds of examples. It's not necessary that you have to remember this only. In fact, this particular topic has been removed from the syllabus for board exam. એનો મતલબ એવો નથી કે ડેરિવેટિવ નીટમાં નહીં આવે. So let's see what reaction is this. Okay, so this is a nuclear reaction obviously. So 92U238, when it will emit alpha particle, it will become as follows. So 92 gives 2 out, 2 protons. Okay, 92 gives 2 out, that is 2 protons. So here only 90 will remain. Is this clear? Very simple. Okay, from 238 total 4 have got 4 into 2 protons and 2 neutrons. Right? Okay. But helium nucleus, 2 proton, 2 neutron. So that is gone. So if from 238 4 are removed, this is only 234. Got it? So આ કયું છે? યુથોરિયમ. મેં તમને કીધું તો યાદ રાખવા પડે. Hopefully you will remember. બરાબર? યાદ રાખી લેજો. 82 થી સ્ટાર્ટ કરીને 95 સુધી. ઓકે? Try to remember those. અને ઓલો એક ટોપિક છે ફિશર. આગળ આવશે. એમાં તો કામ આવવાનું છે. So 92U238 will give thorium 234. Okay? So how do you write these equations? A simple template, a simple formula. If ZXA emits alpha particle, very easy, right? If ZXA emits alpha particle, અહીંયા Z હોય, અહીંયા 2 હોય, અહીંયા શું આવે? Z minus 2, Y and A minus 4. Very easy. Alright? Okay, now why is alpha particle emitted? Let me explain that very short. It's that when there is a heavy nucleus means, let's say like uranium. Let me catch my breath. So let's say that there is a heavy nucleus like uranium. Okay, so in uranium, suppose there are 92 protons, okay, and they are all here and here and here and here and everywhere, right? They are everywhere, and of course there are so many neutrons also. But if you think of the fate of this particular proton, which is close to the surface, right? If you think of a particular proton which is close to the surface, right? What's going to happen with that? Do you remember that we really need to consider 2 kinds of forces, one electromagnetic and the other strong nuclear? Which force is long range, which is short range? Which is long range? Electromagnetic long range. Nuclear force short range. Only acts on neighboring particles. એટલું તો યાદ આવ્યું ને કાલનું. So this proton will have only few neighbors. કેમ? એ surface ઉપર છે. Think of the one. How many neighbors does he have? Because he is sitting on the edge, at the last. Right? Compare that with Raj over there. How many neighbors does he have? He is surrounded by everyone from every side, isn't he? फर्क खबर पड़ी? Sure. So, if this proton here is near the surface, then this proton has only few particles which give strong nuclear force. Correct? એના 3-4 જ neighbor છે. Got it? But think of electromagnetic repulsion, because there are other 91 protons. समझाय? There are how many other protons? 8 and બીજા 91. Right? All the 91 they are pushing it away. Ja bhai ja tu ja. Make sense? Because of the electromagnetic force. So याने काढવાની try. Okay. But yes, in its neighborhood they have a good team, right? They are all bound together by strong nuclear force. So you can say when all these protons will push all these, the ones over here out, so this part will go away, but only proton will not go away. Like I said, in its neighborhood it forms a good team, right? So it's like instead of a single proton coming out, what will happen is 2 protons and 2 neutrons come out. Make sense? So this is nothing but alpha. Clear? Okay. Of course, this is so very interesting. It was at one time this was one of the mysteries. Right? It possible જ નહોતું કે alpha particle બહાર આવી શકે. Theory says that it is impossible that alpha particle will come out. તો પછી આવે કેવી રીતે? એ બધો quantum mechanics નો ખેલ. All about probabilities. Right? And uncertainty principle. પછી શાંતિથી કોક દિવસ મળજો વાત કરશો. Right? Right now we are in a hurry. Now, so this is about alpha particle. આ equation યાદ રાખજો, આ example છે. Right? Let's go to next. Beta. Now there are two kinds of beta. Beta minus, beta plus. Right? Okay, alpha, beta and gamma. So beta minus and beta plus. So what are beta minus? Beta minus means nothing but electrons. And beta plus means nothing but positrons. Okay, what are positrons? Positrons are antimatter of electron. Okay. So electrons and positrons. Now let's take an example. So beta minus, suppose I think this example has been given in your book. 15p32, right? Phosphor 32. Okay, so 15p32, if it emits beta minus that is electron નો symbol e minus 1. Okay, લખ બરાબર. વધારે ડિટેલ લખવી હોય તો અહીંયા -1 લખાય, અહીંયા 0. So you know when we write like this, what this means? I know charge indicate કરે. ઉપર છે atomic mass number. I'm going to ask you a very stupid and yet a very interesting question. How many protons or neutrons are there inside an electron? 0. એટલે અહીંયા 0 આવ્યું. Make sense? How many protons or neutrons are there in phosphorus? 32. O number 0. So, if you try to balance it out, this will be 14. Do you agree with me? Sorry. 16. Okay, this will be 16. Clear? समझ पड़ी ना केम 16 आए? Sure? Okay. And over here it will be 32. Why 32? This is 32. This is 0. How much should this be to balance 32? Got it? So આ શું છે? Identify sulfur, right? Okay. જો આવું આવી તો કેવો ગોકવાડ? You be careful. So this is sulfur. But along with this, this equation is not complete. Again, interesting and mysterious particle called antineutrino is also emitted. And again, antineutrino. And this is obviously electron. And antineutrinos are very weird things. They have very little mass, almost zero mass. Zero nahi. Very little mass. They have no charge. So the बहुत ઓછું mass હોય તો gravitational force nearly zero. Charge nothing. So electrostatic force zero. બરાબર ને? It is not made up of quarks, right? This is not made up of quarks. So strong nuclear force zero. बाकी શું છે? Only one force, weak nuclear force. So antineutrinos are so strange that they are called ghost particles. Okay, now science mauna ghost particles, because by the time I finish this sentence, thousands or lakhs of neutrinos would have passed through everyone's body. આપણી અંદરથી જાય છે અત્યારે ખબર પડે. That's why ghost particles, right? કારણ કે કઈ ફોર્સ જ ન લગાડે. It doesn't interact with anything, right? Okay, mass નથી એટલે ઓછું છે સાવ, એટલે gravitational force nearly zero, charge નથી એટલે electrostatic force zero, strong nuclear force zero. એને કઈ ફરક જ ન પડે. It will go through your body, it will go through this building, it will go through everything. Force લાગે તો ઊભું રહે. આ જો મારો હાથ આની અંદરથી ન જઈ શકે. કેમ? The moment it comes here, there is a force. એટલે ઊભો રહી જાય અને અવાજ આવે. Make sense? Neutrinos અંદરથી હોય. Doesn't matter. છે કઈ વાંધો નહીં. Okay? That's why they are called ghost particles. It took more than 30 years to prove that there are neutrinos and antineutrinos. Big. It took more than 30 years. Theory માં તો આવી ગયું, પણ પછી આવી વસ્તુને ગોતવી કેવી રીતે કે જે કોઈની સાથે કંઈ interact ન કરે. Do you understand what I'm saying? Right? So that's about antineutrinos. So this is one example of beta minus. Now another way to write this same equation, and which I think is very important to get, is what happens inside the nucleus in this situation is that a neutron converts into a proton. I repeat, what happens is inside the nucleus a neutron converts into a proton, and a neutron માંથી proton બની જાય. Okay, and in that process, so obviously proton means 1, neutron means 0, 1. બરાબર ને? તો અહીંયા 0 અહીંયા 1 તો આવું તો ન ચાલે. There has to be a negative particle emitted, so that is an electron. So basically a neutron converts into one proton and one neutron, and in that process it also emits antineutrino, right? That's how the whole thing works. એટલે અહીંયા તમે જોશો ને તો તમને ખબર પડી જશે. Z is 50, N is 17. Okay, અહીંયા લો. Z is 15, N is 17. Okay or not? Okay. Here you have Z is 60 and here N is 60. Do you see what has happened? 17 neutron. One neutron was converted to proton. So एक ઓછો થઈ ગયો ને? Right? So proton number has increased by 1 and neutron number has decreased. But what has not changed? A has not changed. Okay? It is recommended that everyone bring their own water bottle. Okay? Please do not share. Even pen है ते कोई बीजानी ले so नहीं. Right? Okay. So this is what we have. So एकदम any formula जो लगू है तो ZXA gives પેલા આ લખના તો is equal right, so it will be Z plus 1. Understood or not understood? બેલેન્સ કરો તો બધું થઈ જાય, આ બધું કઈ યાદ રાખવા જેવું નથી. It's just to draw your attention કે આવી રીતે થાય, right? પણ ઉપર બાર છે ને, that is for anti. What time to be? Now okay, let's go to beta plus. It's more or less the same, so I'll just make it very straightforward. M1 and પેલા ઊંધું થાય. Okay, 1p1 becomes 0n1. Instead of a neutron getting converted to proton, it's a proton getting converted to neutron. આ બધું ન્યુક્લિયસ ની અંદર ચાલે છે જાદુ. Okay, don't forget that. And just like here, after it is converted, it will throw an electron out. ક્યાંથી નીકળો electron? nucleus માંથી electron નીકળે. Understood? This electron comes out from the nucleus. Orbit માંથી નહીં. એવી રીતે આમાં શું થાય? Here, if this is 0, this is 1, then here we need a positron. A positron. What's a positron? It's a evil twin of electron. Mass same, right? Charge opposite. And -1 e and +1. That's the only, right? પણ આ બે ભેગા થાય ને એટલે એક ક્વેશ્ચન સોલ્વ કર્યો તો યાદ છે કયા ચેપ્ટરમાં હતો? ડ્યુઅલ નેચરમાં. એવો એક ક્વેશ્ચન હતો કે 1 ઇલેક્ટ્રોન એન્ડ 1 પોઝિટ્રોન કમ્બાઈન. મેં તમને કીધું હતું એને એનાઇલેશન કહેવાય. યાદ આવ્યો આપણે? Hopefully you do remember. It was one of the additional questions, but we did it, right? Okay. So that is a positron, and along with the positron, a neutrino is emitted. A neutrino. All anti-neutrino are neutrino. Okay. And similarly, you can write a relation here to that. My book man sodium. No, I'm not so sure. Am I right? Again, there are many more examples, but આપણે હવે કઈ એટલું બધું ડિટેલમાં જવાની જરૂર નથી. બરાબર? So 11 and 22 will give. Now if you do this thing here, let's see. Those equal to કેતે લખાય એમને એમ કેતે ખબર પડી જાય. Actually very easy. Here we have Z11 and 11. Now one proton becomes one neutron. So Z10 થઈ જાય. Do you agree? One proton becomes one neutron. એક ઓછો થઈ ગયો ને? So one neutron will increase, yes? Or the other way to do it is write this first and પછી balance કરજો. અહીંયા +1 અહીંયા 11 તો અહીંયા 10 તો 10 આવી ગયું. Okay, and then this 22, this is 0, so this is also 22. Number 10 is neon. Got it? Right. So that's about beta plus. હવે યાદ રાખજો કે આના જેવી આની ફોર્મ્યુલા બનાવી હોય તો ZXA gives શું આવું જોઈએ? What do you think? This is 11, this is 10. તો અહીંયા થી લખું Z minus 1. Clear? બરાબર ને? એક ઓછો થઈ ગયો ને પ્રોટોન. And here this will remain A. Let's call this Y only. +1 is 0. Right? And a neutrino. This is how the whole આની હિસ્ટ્રી બહુ ઇન્ટરેસ્ટિંગ છે. એક ટાઈમ એવો આવ્યો હતો કે ત્યારે બોર્ડે એવું કહી દીધું કે લો ઓફ કન્ઝર્વેશન ઓફ મોમેન્ટમ ઇઝ રોંગ. ઓકે, I will not go into it too much. ખાલી કહી દો ગોતીને વાંચી લેજો, right? But obviously it's not the way. બચી ગયો બોર, નહીં તો બચારાની બહુ બેઇજ્જતી થઈ જાય, રાઈટ? નોબેલ પ્રાઇઝ મેળવ્યા પછી કોઈ આટલું બધું આવું કહી દે અને જે સાવ ખોટું નીકળે એવું. પોલી સેવ થયું. હું પોલી ઇઝ એક્સક્લુઝન પ્રિન્સિપલ. ધેટ સેમ પર્સન પોલી એનો ફ્રેન્ડ હતો. પછી એ બે ભેગા મળીને બરાબર રિસર્ચ કર્યું ને તો એમાંથી આ નીકળ્યું. They found that there will be something called anti-neutrino. But like I said, it was very difficult to prove that there is. Right? So, I like you beta. Now the easiest one, gamma. Tau. Whatever. In the previous chapter, what was the name of previous chapter? Atoms. Right. Yeah, sure. So in the previous chapter, the atoms, we have learned that atoms have energy levels. याद आवे थे? आवे थे वही नहीं? याद है वो तो? Ground state, excited state, and all that. Okay. Then what happens when an atom or an electron makes a transition from an excited state to ground state? It will release energy in form of one photon. याद है वो? Bohr's hypothesis. ठीक है ना? When an electron makes a transition from higher level to the lower level. बराबर? तो ये photon emit करते हैं, right? Well, gamma rays are actually similar. Gamma rays are similar because instead of electrons making transition, the nucleus makes a transition. ફરક કેટલો છે? આમાં પહેલા માળથી કૂતરું પડતું હતું. હવે ન્યુક્લિયસના કેસમાં પહેલા માળથી હાથી પડશે. Right? Not joking. Why? Because in nucleus all the energies are because of the strong nuclear force. बराबर ने? They are because of the strong nuclear force, and it's very strong. That's why all the energies are in MeV, not in EV. ખબર પડી ગઈ? કૂતરું ને હાથી ઓલું EV અને હવે 10 raised to 6 times. Right? So sometimes if a nucleus is in excited state, from there it will make a transition to the ground state. નીચે આવશે. Right? In that process it will once again emit photon. But this photon, that is this light or this radiation, is not infrared, is not visible light, is not even X-rays. It is directly gamma rays because it has very high energy. Very covered? Okay. So that is the source of gamma rays, right? And in gamma rays nothing changes. I hope you realize what. Correct? कहीं बीजो change नहीं, खाली ऊपर से नीचे. That is, energy has changed. Remaining energy is thrown off. Got it? Right? So that's about gamma rays. Remember, in gamma rays nothing changes. Z change no થાય, A change no થાય, Na change. Right? So that's about these three types. Alright? That's about these three types. Okay, now let's talk about how or at what rate these particles are emitted. Suppose we say that uranium 238, which is found in the Earth's crust, it can emit alpha particles. तो શું એ બધા એક સાથે જ કરી નાખે? તો અત્યારે કે યુરેનિયમ હોય જ નહીં ને, મેક સેન્સ? નો ખબર. If all the uranium nuclei would emit alpha particle immediately, તો શું થાય? તો કે યુરેનિયમ જ ન રહે. But that's not true. Even after 4.5 billion years of formation of Earth, we still see that there is uranium. So that means this process is not instantaneous. समझ पड़े? The process is not instantaneous. It takes time. It takes lot of time. Okay, and that brings great mystery. Okay, what's the mystery? It is that if you take a particular uranium nucleus, let's say, then the answer is nobody knows when it will emit. Nobody knows when it will emit alpha particle. કરશે એ ખબર છે. Do you see the difference between the two things? We know that it will, but when? It's all a waiting game. right? It is all awaiting you. તો પછી આ તો એવું બને ને કોઈ દિવસ કરે જ નહીં, હજી આપણે રાહ જોઈ રાખીએ ઇન્ફાઇનાઇટ ટાઈમ સુધી ન કરે તો આ તો એવું થાય. Make sense? Possible, right? But because nucleus is very small, so here obviously laws of quantum mechanics apply. If laws of quantum mechanics will apply, that means everything is decided by, what's the word? Probability. That's right. Everything is decided by probability. It's a fact. Okay. And by default, if everything is decided by probability, then to make a good prediction, you need a large number. બરાબર ને? એક જ કોઈન લીધો અને બે વાર ટોસ કરો, બે વાર હેડ આવ્યું ને પછી એવો ક્લેમ કરી દો આમાં દર વખતે હેડ્સ જ આવે, તો ત્રીજી વાર કરો તો ટેલ્સ એ નીકળે. મેક સેન્સ? So we need large numbers. But large number of nuclei are not a problem. કેમ? તમે સપોઝ ખાલી 238 ગ્રામ યુરેનિયમ 238 લઈ આવો, then this will have how many nuclei? 6 into 10 raised to 23. બહુ કેટલો મોટો નંબર. Understood? So large numbers not a problem for us, we can easily get, right? Okay, so keep this in mind, keep probability in mind. Now, so the question is, where will something emit? 1 second માં કેટલા emit થાય, 1 વર્ષમાં કેટલા થાય, in 1000 years how many will be emitted? All of that depends on probability. So to make you understand this concept, which is very disturbing for many people, હું તમને કહું છું, કારણ કે આમાં પ્રોબેબિલિટી લેવા હશે ને તો ઘણાને છેલ્લે એવું થશે કે આવું ન હોય જ, તે પોસિબલ જ નથી, રાઈટ? So let's take an analogy. Suppose there is a room, and I'm sure you have seen that in a room, okay, if you have filled, you have attached balloons for a party and all that, and you let the balloons be there overnight. When you wake up the next morning, some have been bursted and some have not. Have you seen that? Yes or no? કોઈ ફોડીને આવ્યું હોય રાતે અંધારામાં? Not true. But mysteriously some have got bursted and some have not, right? Okay, obviously due to other factors like wind and temperature, blah blah blah. So random behavior. Well, we have more or less the same thing here. So consider that there is a room that is filled with, suppose, 9 balloons. That's number is just random, arbitrary, right? And consider that with each balloon, somehow nature has attached a dice. બરાબર? એવું કંઈક તમે વિચારો. Somehow with each balloon there is a dice, and it's like a game. અમુક ગેમમાં ન હોય 6 આવે તો કંઈક ઇન્ટરેસ્ટિંગ થાય. Have you ever played board games or not with dice? Yes or no? કે ભૂલી ગયા? હા. So let's say that nature has made itself that when you get a 6 on the dice, the balloon will burst. Okay, when you get a 6 on the dice, balloon will burst. Interesting, isn't it? And every second, suppose every second, right, the dice corresponding to all these 9, there will be 9 dices, correct? There will be 9 dice. Yes or no? Sure? Every second we roll all the 9. Okay, every second all 9 are rolled. You which are? Then that will make more sense. Okay. એમાંથી જેનો 6 આવે એ ફૂટી જશે, બરાબર ને? સપોઝ આ 9 જ બધા રોલ કરે, 1 સેકન્ડમાં કેટલા ફૂટશે? કેન યુ પ્રિડિક્ટ? કહો તો કરો, કેટલા ફૂટશે 1 સેકન્ડમાં? કેન યુ પ્રિડિક્ટ? નક્કી ન કહેવાય ને. there are only 9 dice, બધા 6 આવી જાય તો બધા ફૂટી જાય, correct? Sure? So it's a very small number, you can't predict what will happen. Got it? But let's say that because this is nature and nature likes to do everything on a grand scale, in this room suppose instead of 9 balloons there are 9 million balloons. Now, do we have a sufficiently large number? Yes, 9 million by any standard is a large number, isn't it? If you don't think so, આપી દો મને 9 million rupees હું લઈ લઈશ. It's a small number. બરાબર ને? તમારું શું જાય? Small number. So, let's consider this case. Now, if all the dice will be rolled together, how many dice? 9 million. Right? Then do you realize that out of these 1/6, right, આ નંબર થોડો ઈઝી કરી નાખીએ. ચલો 9 માં કન્ફ્યુઝન થાય, આપણે 6 કરી નાખીએ. ડિવાઈડ કરવું પડે 1,50,000 જેવું આવે એના કરતા આ બરાબર. ઓકે, લેટ્સ સે this is 6 million, right? So do you realize that from these 6 million balloons and their 6 million dice, 1 million will show 6? Yes or no? Yes or no? This is pretty much guaranteed. Why is it guaranteed? Because probability is a law of large number. એવું બને કે 1 million ના બદલે 1 million minus 5 એટલો જ ફરક પડે, બહુ જાજો ફરક ન પડે. ઓકે, so 1 million will burst. ઓકે, તો 1 સેકન્ડમાં કેટલા બર્સ્ટ થઈ ગયા? 1 million. Okay, and how many were there total? Out of how many? Out of 6 million. Make sense? Okay, let's change this a little bit. Instead of 6 million, suppose there were 60 million balloons. હવે શું થાય? Easy. તો હવે કેટલા થાય? અરે વાહ. So in 1 second, 10 million balloons will get burst. You see, this is strange. 1 સેકન્ડમાં કેટલા બલૂન ફૂટી જાય એ કેની પર ડિપેન્ડ કરે? કેની પર ડિપેન્ડ કરે? કેટલા બલૂન શેની પર? 6 મિલિયન હતા તો 1 સેકન્ડમાં 1 મિલિયન ફૂટી ગયા. 60 મિલિયન હતા તો 1 સેકન્ડમાં 10 મિલિયન બલૂન્સને ખબર પડે કે હા ચલો આપણે કાઉન્ટ કરીએ, આપણે કેટલા છીએ? હા 60 મિલિયન છે, તો 1 સેકન્ડમાં 10 મિલિયન ફૂટી જજો. અને પછી બીજા કેસમાં કાઉન્ટ કરીએ, ઓકે આપણે કેટલા છીએ? રાઈટ, વી આર ઓન્લી 6 મિલિયન, તો 1 સેકન્ડમાં 1 મિલિયન જ ફૂટજો, વધુ ન ફૂટતા. Do you see the strangeness here? બીજી રીતે વિચારો તો, if you would roll dice, let's say 6 million times, તો die ને કેવી રીતે ખબર પડે કે મારે આટલી જ વાર 1 hour નો આટલી જ વાર 2 hour નો? You get what I'm saying? It doesn't know. The fact is, this is probability, right? So do you agree with this sentence that I'm writing? Rate of bursting is proportional to number of balloons. Yes or no? What is meaning of the rate of bursting? What's meaning of rate of bursting? 1 second માં કેટલા burst થાય? So it's proportional to. Sure, you agree with this? આને પહેલા આપણે 6 મિલિયન રાખ્યા હતા, એમાંથી 60 મિલિયન થયા, તો 10 times છે. So this has also become 10 times. Sure. So now this analogy is perfect. The only thing is, instead of bursting, suppose you think that this is a uranium nucleus or any other radioactive nucleus, and it's going to emit alpha, beta, gamma, જે કઈ હોય, no problem. So suppose it's going to emit alpha, એનું alpha ready જ છે, બધાના alpha particle એટલે અંદર 2 proton, neutron બધું ready જ હોય, it's all ready there, but it will not go out. Okay, how many go out depends on probability. How many go out depends on the probability. So what will happen is, instead of bursting, you can think emits, and instead of balloon, you can say nucleus. So how many nuclei emit, that depends on probability. So if you take this here, this analogy will now become rate of radioactivity is proportional to number of nuclei. Did you understand this? Again, what is the analogy that we are talking about here? Balloon tooटी जाए. That is like emitting alpha particle. समझा? And every balloon is like what? A nucleus. Right? So rate of radioactivity, that is in 1 second how many alpha particles are emitted or how many beta particles are emitted. Okay, that depends or that is proportional to the number of nuclei. Again, if you think about it, it is weird. Nucleus ने केवी રીતે ખબર પડે કે અમે કેટલા છે? You get what I said? When there would be 1 million, there in 1 second less number of alpha particles will come out. If there are 10 million, more number of alpha particles. Right? Okay. One more interesting thing with this is you cannot predict which one will emit. એટલે suppose આ બધા લે 6 million 60 million they allow it, but then which out of the 60 million, let's say, which 10 million will emit, that you don't know. સમજાય? એનો ખબર પડી. Out of the suppose 60 million uranium nuclei are there, let's say in this sample, okay, in this room, let's say there are 60 million uranium nuclei. So e 60 million માંથી 10 million emit કરશે 1 second, fine, but which 10 million? સમજાય છે? which 10 million? આ ને ઓલું કે આ ને ઓલું, that you don't know. ખબર પડી ગઈ? Right? So that is completely random. That is completely random. You know, you can think of it like this. Suppose you have decided that you are going to roll a dice 60 million times. Then we can say that roughly 10 million times you will get 6, roughly 10 million times you will get 5, 10 million times 4. હા, પણ તમે એ કહી શકો કે ફર્સ્ટ ટ્રાયમાં શું આવશે? નો કહી શકો ને? સમજાય છે? You can also not say on the second try what will you get. Got it? Predicting an individual is not possible. Predicting an individual is not possible. You can only predict the whole thing together. That is what probability gives. Right? Okay? I think we may be out of the time. Right? So next time we are going to start from here. Okay? આ જે લખ્યું છે યાદ રાખજો, એનાથી હવે ઇક્વેશન બને, પછી આગળ બધું કેલ્ક્યુલેટ. ઓકે?